Under motions and resolutions, Mr. Berryhill.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, the hour is late, but as customary, this time of year, we do get to recognize a few leaders in this body. And tonight, I have the honor to recognize former Republican leader Bob Huff. With his leadership, we accomplished great things both inside and outside of this building. And I'll tell you, 5 years ago, when Bob took leadership position, this caucus was really in disarray. It seemed that we were going through leaders every couple months, and we had tremendous challenges that were in front of us. I mean, building relationships with the other side of the aisle, a lot of folks in here, making our party just relevant again. You know, diversifying and the demographics of our caucus were tremendous challenges. Creating a brand that we could be proud of was some of the goals that we had. And Bob, I got to say, over these past 5 years, I've had a blast being there on your side and making some of those things happen. And at the end of the day, those bipartisan things and the accomplishments that you've had and your legacy, they can never take from you. And you've done it with class. You've done it as a gentleman. And I think the fact that just this last Wednesday at your birthday, the fact that the governor, our own pro tem, the speaker, and numerous people showed up to thank you for your leadership is a true testament to your bipartisan nature and the leadership that you've brought to this institution. So that being said, I just want to wish you the best of luck in your next chapter of what you do, and give May a big hug and thank her for sharing you with us past 5 years.
Thank you very much. Continuing on with supplemental file number 3, colleagues, we'll go to file item 95, Senate Resolution 39. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Senate Resolution 39 by Senator Hall relative to immigration.
Senator Hall.
Yes, thank you, Madam President and members. SR 39 publicly denounces presidential candidate Donald Trump for his racist remarks against immigrant families and calls upon the state of California to divest any business relationship with Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of his affiliates. This resolution also encourages private businesses and individuals throughout California to end all business ties with Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, or any of his affiliated business entities. Members, California is the home to the largest population of immigrants in the United States of America, whose contributions help to drive the state to be the most economically successful and prosperous nation. A recent study by the University of California in Los Angeles found that legalizing the status of undocumented immigrants working and living in the United States would create approximately $1.5 trillion in additional gross domestic product growth over the next 10 years and increase wages for all workers. Instead of celebrating the contributions that immigrants are providing, Donald Trump has spent this last year demonizing immigrants and promoting a culture of hate, racism, and bigotry, not seen in this nation since the era of Jim Crow. The hate spewed by Donald Trump this year has brought out the worst in who we are as a person. Racism hurts. Hatred hurts. bigotry hurts. And we are better than the trash that is being dumping on us and on this state and on the folks of the state of California. Today, the California State Senate will send its own message. We are not tolerating the bigotry, the hatred, and the racism that has been spewed in the state of California against our immigrants who have lived here and who have worked here and provided for our country. Today, we are not just speaking up against racism. We are taking an action to prevent Mr. Trump from profiting off of the backs of Californians and the immigrant communities that are essential to our state's cultural and economic strength. SR 39 calls upon the state of California to divest from any business relationship with Donald Trump or the Trump Organization, encourage private individuals to follow California's lead. CalPERS has identified real estate investments it has in the Trump Organization in the state of New York, valued in the millions. Additional private investments and licensing agreements with the Trump Organization can be found throughout the state, from San Francisco to Los Angeles. Many businesses have already dumped Trump, including NBC Universal, ESPN, and the Professional Golf Association. Many more are likely to follow. Senators, this nation is not a reality show. But here is the reality. California is a stronger state because of its Latino immigrants. California is a stronger state because of its Asian immigrants. California is a stronger state because of its African immigrants. California is a stronger state because of its European immigrants. We are a stronger state and a stronger people because of the immigrants and because we desperately need comprehensive federal immigration reform in order to fully embrace our nation's potential. Senators, Donald Trump will be visiting my district, San Pedro, Tuesday, and I have a message for Donald Trump. You and your hateful, racist rhetoric will not be welcomed in the 35th Senatorial District, nor will it be welcomed in the state of California. Enough is enough. The state of California has had enough. It is time to say no to racism in this nation. It's time to say no to racism in California, and it's time to, quite honestly, dump Trump. In my humble opinion, I ask for your support respectfully. Thank you.
Any discussion or debate? Senator Fuller?
I rise today to reflect on the significance of this day. I rise above the things that are wrong, to speak for the things that were right. There are many things that were right today, and I would just like for our side of the aisle to point them out. That we gave tribute to 3 American heroes who represent the best of us when we are at our best and we can be at our best, and that we would all be proud to have visit our districts. I rise today to say that 14 years ago our nation was attacked on 9/11, and while we do have hatred and bigotry and disappointments and human nature, we have so many things that are right and wonderful and good. And all of you are elected here by those people who want you to be their best and to reflect on what is good for them. And I'm very proud to have been a part of this week. I'm very proud of the collegiality that we all showed. I'm very proud of the respect that we all showed, even though we have disagreements and that geographically we are divided, and that our interests geographically and ethnically and in many ways are divided. We rose above that and we were united today. I was so proud of us today in the assembly that we had for our heroes. I was so proud of what we stand for. So I'm going to close my discussion of this particular issue with, we have chosen, the Republicans today, to have a moment of silence and to reflect on the good things. And that will be our finest hour.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion or debate on the measure? Any further discussion or debate? Senator Hall, you may close.
Yes, and now I'd like to go back to the reference of the bill of the resolution of SR 39 and ask again my colleagues to support this resolution to send a clear message that bigotry and hatred and racism is not tolerated in the state of California, and nor is it tolerated in the United States of America. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Please call the roll.
Allen. Anderson. No. Bates. Bell. Aye. Berryhill. Block. Aye. Canella. De Leon. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. Galgiani. Aye. Glazer. Aye. Hall. Aye. Hancock. Hernandez. Aye. Hertzberg. Hill. Aye. Wesso. Aye. Huff. Jackson. Aye. Lara. Aye. Leno. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. McGuire. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Mitchell. Aye. Monning. Aye. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. Nilsson. Pan. Aye. Pavley. Roth. Aye. Runner. Stone. Vidak. Wachowski. Aye. Wolk. Wolk, aye. Allen, aye.
Call the absent members one time.
Bates. Berryhill. Canella. Fuller. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Hertzberg. Huff. Liu. Aye. Morlock. Morrell. Wynn. Nilsson. Pavley. Aye. Runner. Stone. Vidak.
Ayes 25, noes 1. The resolution is adopted. Colleagues, we have a bill on call. Item number 109, Senate Bill 168, under unfinished business. Please call the absent members.
Block. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Leva. Aye. Liu. Aye. Mendoza. Aye. Monning. Aye. Pan. Aye. Runner. Vidak. Aye.
Call the absent members. This is
Runner.
our last bill on call, members, so please listen up. Call the absent members.
Runner. Aye.
Ayes 40, no 0. On the urgency, ayes 40, no 0 on concurrence in the Assembly amendments. Under motions and resolutions, well, before I do that, are there any items that we have not gone over or that we passed on file that members wish to take up? This is your last opportunity to do so. Are there any items that members wish to take up? Senator Morlock.
The floor. I'd like to bring up 1024.
Can you give me the file item number?
1024, that was the score that the Democrats beat the Republicans in softball.
Thank you very much,
I just want to thank you, Madam President, that no one made a big deal out of beating us. You guys are such a class act. And good luck next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Again, this is your last opportunity. Going once, twice. Any additional items that were passed on file? Seeing none, under motions and resolutions, all items on file that were not acted upon will be moved to the inactive file without objection. Senator De Leon, for what purpose do you rise?
Thank you, Madam President. A point of personal privilege.
Please proceed.
Colleagues, I want to continue the comments that were expressed a few moments ago by Senator Tom Berryhill. of one of our colleagues. Now, Senator Bob Huff has been a very thoughtful adversary and a good friend. And had I known you were going to speak, so ill will of my bill, SB 350, maybe I wouldn't have shared these few words I'm about to share, about you. But although we have disagreed, we do share a true love for California, and we have built a shared trust. Senator Huff, for those who don't know, Senator Huff was raised on a family farm in the Imperial Valley and eventually got into the grain business. And I think it was very natural that Senator Huff would actually become the leader of the minority party. Given the fact that he was born in the California-Mexico border, in Calexico, surrounded by Latinos, Senator Huff was in the minority since the day he was born. So back in the 1990s, Citizen Huff got into a tangle with the planners for the city of Diamond Bar, and he won that spat and was convinced that he, in fact, could do a much better job representing his neighbors. So he succeeded in city government, rising to the position of mayor, and eventually came to Sacramento, where he became a very effective leader. Now, Senator Huff, Californians owe a great debt of gratitude to the cranky Diamond Bar Planning Department for denying your church expansion project and launching, in fact, your political career here in Sacramento. As we all know, Bob is quintessentially a very, very nice guy. A lot of folks don't know this, but when he was growing up back in Calexico in the Imperial Valley, his very best friend was blind. That is Darrell Eager. And Bob read to him every day to help him in high school. And Bob also had a paper route so that he could earn enough money to pay for a tandem bike so he could actually get his friend Darrell to school. That is an incredible humanistic thing to do. Bob loves animals, the outdoors, camping, fishing, and this is a big surprise, riding his Harley motorcycle. I did not see that one coming right there. He is a very understated person who has a great sense of humor, and I have truly enjoyed spending time with Bob. He is a true gentleman. He is a man who loves the state of California. We are diametrically opposed in the way we view things, but no doubt about it, this is a man who is a gift to the state of California, because you represent your constituents with passion. You believe in your values that you adhere to every single day. I really, truly enjoyed spending time with you in Japan, with Mei, with all the meetings that we had from morning to night. But it was a true moment for me to spend this time with you. You're going to be sorely missed in this legislative body. You've made an incredible footprint, not just for Republicans, but also for Democrats. You rise above the politics, and again, you'll be sorely missed. I wish you the very best. We all wish you the very best in your future endeavors. So with that, on behalf of your Senate family, because once a senator, always a senator, we wish you the very best.
Senator De Leon?
Madam President, I may have gone ahead of myself because we will see him in January.
Right.
Yeah, so not that I'm pushing you out right now, Bob.
Once a leader, always a leader. Under motions and resolutions, would anybody like to be recognized? Motions and resolutions? On behalf of the Women's Caucus, we'd like to thank Senator Lara for the lovely gift of the throws. They were very useful. Thank you, sir. Oh, we're not. Colleagues, to give you a status update, the Assembly is having a Democratic caucus, and there is a bill we are waiting on. Morning. For what purpose
Yes.
do you rise?
Madam Chair, Democratic Caucus in the Maddie Lounge.
Democratic Caucus, Maddie Lounge. Quickly, please, members. I said, please get my socks. Well, but they have a bill, so I don't know. Wait a minute.
Bill number will have a Republican caucus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't even know. If there's no further business, Madam Minority Leader.
At this time, I would just like to thank a few individuals, so if we can give a minute. As we come to the close on this legislative session, I'd like to recognize the efforts of everyone throughout the whole year. It's taken a lot of work by a lot of people to get us this point, and I'd like to say thank you to the many who deserve recognition. I want to start off by thanking all the Senate leadership and their staff. I also would like to thank and recognize the hard work of Danny Alvarez. I don't know where Danny went, and Bernadette. I don't know where Bernadette went. And all the rest of the desk staff. The times when I got to preside were made so much better by their care and their attention. And after having been up there just a short time, I realized how hard their job is. And it's a miracle they get all this stuff right. So thank you again for everything you all do for us. I would also like to have a special thanks to Debbie Manning and all the Sergeant-at-Arms and the Special Services and their support staff. For those of you who didn't know, in addition to having the hardest day of the year today, she provided water and was on the planning committee for the parade and did the double extra security, and her staff for all of the members that came with the parade. Can you imagine what that one event on this day would have been hard enough without this day? So thank you very much for your help. I want to thank both caucus teams and their efforts to make all of our jobs easier. They've been staying up all night for the last couple weeks to make sure that we had the data that we needed, and that makes all the difference to us in terms of getting things right and minimizing the friction of the teams. And of course, thanks to all of my colleagues. You make us all better by all of us working together, not surprising one another. And That's what we want for California. Thank you.
Mr. Pro Tem.
Thank you very much, Madam President, colleagues, senators, as well as the fantastic staff that we have here in the Senate. Tonight, we gavel down to close the 2015 legislative year. And I want to take a moment to reflect on what we have been able to accomplish together for this great state and its uniquely diverse and dynamic people. From day one, we pledged to tackle the people's to-do list and build on California's progress, not just to increase our state's prosperity, but to give more California access to the California dream, especially working families and underserved communities. And that's exactly what we have done. By any measure, we have expanded the winner's circle to enable more hardworking Californians to enjoy the fruits of opportunity and prosperity. I'm going to highlight a couple because I think it is very important to take stock, assess of all the hard work that we've done for 2015. We've invested more in California's school children and our public education system than at any other time in our state's history. We threw open the door to affordability for college students, for tens of thousands of California students who otherwise wouldn't be able to attend a four-year university. Just yesterday, the president of Cal State Sacramento said because of the work that we did here during the budget process, they were able to admit 500 students above and beyond what their budget allowed them to do. And that was because of the work that we did collectively to focus on Cal State University students. And that's just one CSU school. That doesn't include all the other CSU schools up and down the state of California. We passed the budget. We passed a budget that invests in children's health care for 170,000 immigrant children. As a state of immigrants, we're also finally extending fundamental rights to those who come here, who play by the rules, and who contribute to this great economy. We passed a landmark vaccination law that protects the rights of children to be safe at school and in daycare. We took steps to safeguard our foster care children. We responded to California's fourth year of record drought with $2 billion to feed and shelter those hardest hit for new dedicated water investments. And that's just the beginning because we know that's only a down payment. Much work to do still. After 19 long years of uncertainty, we finally passed an accountable as well as regulated medical marijuana system that protects patients and preserves local control. 4 consecutive years in the Senate, this legislation has moved forward only to be vetoed or only to die in the other chamber. 4 consecutive years. This year, we have moved forward with really strong, dedicated senators who have really put this thing together. We've codified compassion and empowered patients to make their own highly personal end-of-life decisions. We started leveling the work and field for California women who demand and deserve fair pay for equal work, the toughest pay equity law in the nation. We stopped wage theft of low-income workers. We've reformed a broken bankruptcy and debt collection system and passed an earned income tax credit for 2 million working families. We strengthened gun safety and fair policing laws. We bridged the disconnect between California's small businesses and the laws protecting Californians with disabilities, ADA. And friends, we took historic actions of worldwide significance to make our air cleaner, to increase clean energy job creation, and to meet the climate change challenge before us with outcomes that will disproportionately benefit economically disadvantaged regions of this state. And finally, as you know, this was the year of oversight for the California State Senate. We held nearly 100 separate government oversight hearings, all open to the public, in keeping with the duty to the taxpayers of the state of California. For this, we owe our committee staff, both Democrats and Republicans, our deepest gratitude. And these hearings provided meaningful results in holding our government agencies accountable and exposing serious lapses in performance that are now being addressed with substantive reforms. Our committee staff also shouldered the responsibility of preparing the analysis for all legislation on the Senate floor. They are our intellectual engine, and they deserve a round of applause. Let's give it up for our committee staff. Once again, I want to thank my very good friend, Senator Huff, who has shown great commitment to his principles, to his constituents, to his caucus, and to the institution as the former Republican leader. His approach of collaboration and cooperation demonstrates why he is a great leader whose focus is on the accomplishment rather than the confrontation. And I also want to thank our new Republican leader. Our new Republican leader, my partner on the Rules Committee, we have served together since our SAB days, State Allocation Board in the California State Assembly. And I'm looking forward to working with you as well as our colleagues in the GOP here in the Senate. I also want to thank our Majority Leader, Memo Mani, for his great leadership on our Senate floor. Let's give it up for Memo. To our presiding officers who have done an extraordinary job, starting with Senator Holly Mitchell, Senator HBJ Hannibal Jackson, Senator Ricardo Lara, as well as Senator Ted Gaines. You four have kept the train on the tracks, especially during the last week, where motions get high, motions get low, people get tired, and with a lot of work and a lot of stress, you've helped keep us focused on the goal. So I want to thank you very, very much. And what has been mentioned already, but I want to recognize her again, Debbie Manning, and all the Senate sergeants who ensure our safety and keep our floor sessions and committee hearings orderly. Bernie at the desk, without her, we'd all be lost. Thank you very much, Bernie. To the Rules Committee staff, without them, I'd be lost. Yes. So let's get up for the Rules Committee staff. To the enrolling and engrossing staff who are integral to the legislative process, to the Republican floor staff who serve their members with professionalism as well as distinction, and of course to my own staff deeply dedicated to the Senate and the people of California. This has been a great session of great ambition, meaningful accomplishment, and an unflinching belief that the California dream belongs to everyone, not just to the privileged or those who can afford a lobbyist. We didn't achieve everything we wanted, but that's okay, because that's what's so great about a two-year session. This is only halftime, colleagues. We still have another second half to play next year. With that, I wish you the very best. Good night to all. Thank you very much.
We stand adjourned.